Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar about higher education in Europe and Asia and how to study for almost free abroad. My name is Jane, and I'm an educational consultant here at Univibes. And today I'm also a host and a speaker of this webinar. As far as I can see, we have a very international audience. So we have the chat box here. So feel free to introduce yourself, to tell me where are you from, how are you today, this Sunday evening. I want this webinar to be more interactive. So feel free to share your questions, to share your experiences about studying abroad, about your plans on studying abroad in the chat box. And by the end of this session, we will answer all of your questions. Thank you again for taking the time to join us today as we talk about affordable higher education in Europe and Asia. Yes, to make sure we are helping you as best as we can, again, feel free to share your questions and thoughts in the chat box. And also don't worry about taking notes immediately, because after this webinar, we will send you the recording to your email. So you'll have it, you'll have the presentation. Again, for those of you just joining us, welcome and thank you for joining. So before we start, let me share the plan of today's webinar. So today we will mainly talk about affordable higher education in Europe and Asia, and we will start from the introduction of who we are, who are Univibes, and what we do and how we help students. Then we will cover different countries in Europe and Asia with the most affordable education. And here we talk about only higher education, which is bachelor's degrees, master degrees, and PhD. Then we will talk about fully funded scholarships for international students and how to apply for them, where to apply for them, and what these scholarships can offer you as an international student. Then we will talk about the qualities that universities, that admissions offices usually look for in applicants and how to become a perfect candidate for any scholarship and for any university program abroad. And in the end, again, we'll have the Q&A session, questions and answers. Again, feel free to share your questions in the chat box. Hi, we have lots of people from Philippines, right? Feel free to share where are you from in the chat box. Okay, let me start. So who are Univibes? So we are Univibes, an international community of study abroad advisors. We are present in Germany, which is our European office, USA, and Arab Emirates in Dubai. Our study abroad advisors are located worldwide, so almost in 20 countries. So in the next slide, you will see the full list of these countries that we work with. We also have more than 160 partner universities all around the world in Europe, Asia, and North America. And we are proud that our clients, that our students achieve their dreams and they get into universities all around the world. So we have more than 1,000 of successful cases. And hopefully you can become like another 1,000 of successful cases in the future. So the countries we work with, you can see on the slide. So it's mainly European countries from Italy to Sweden. We also work with the United Kingdom and North American countries such as USA and Canada, and Asian countries, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and China. So how we can help? So at Univibes here, we provide personal guidance throughout the whole application process. Our study abroad advisors help every client to strengthen their profile so that they can become a perfect candidate for any university program, for any scholarship program. What we do, we start from the selection of the best fitting programs and scholarships for each client based on the criteria that each client sets. For example, someone wants to study only in London, and someone has a certain amount, certain budget for education. So based on that criteria, we select the best universities. Then we help with the full cycle of preparing supporting documents, which includes formatting of motivational letters, recommendation letters, study plans, CVs, and so on. Then we submit together with our clients, submit a university application, and then we get successful outcomes. So yeah, this full support and full guidance throughout the whole application process to universities abroad and scholarship programs. If you have any questions about our services, feel free again to drop your questions in the chat box. We work with universities from all around the world. Universities, as you may know, there are state universities or public universities and private universities. So today we will talk about affordable education, and we will talk about the countries where state universities are free or almost free. But in most cases, private universities in the countries with affordable education are not free, so there is a small fee. But again, it is still affordable. Yeah, so now we can start talking about the countries with the most affordable education. When it comes to affordable education, the first country is Germany, of course. Germany takes the first place in terms of affordable education because by law, education at state universities in Germany is free of charge for everyone, international students, local students. So, but there is a small contribution fee that every student pays each semester. And the contribution fee starts at 100 euros and it goes up to 400 euros per semester. This contribution fee is not only about your contribution to a university. In return, you get lots of social benefits. What social benefits? For example, you get a travel card as a student, and you can travel around Germany for almost free. Then you get different social discounts for cultural events. You can eat at cheap canteens as a student, so lots of social benefits. So that's for state universities where education is free. Private universities, there is still a small fee, and the average would be around 1,000 euros per year. That's for private universities. Also, important topic is living expenses. So, as for living expenses in Germany, on average, of course, it depends on your lifestyle, it depends on the city you live in, but on average, living costs would be around 1,000 euros per month or less, depending on the city and your lifestyle. Another important topic to cover here is language of instruction. So in Germany, people speak German, of course, but there are English taught programs at state universities and private universities in Germany. So if you do not speak German, you can still study in Germany in English. If you come from a non-English speaking country, then you will have to pass a language proficiency test before you apply to any program, English taught program in Germany. But if you come from an English speaking country, then you don't need to take any language tests. Talking about the benefits of education in Germany, we should definitely talk about the scholarships for international students who want to study in Germany. And there are quite a lot of them. So on the screen, you can see here the DAAD scholarship, Bayhouse scholarship. So these scholarships are mostly for postgraduate studies, and they can cover up to 100% of your tuition, education costs, and living costs in Germany. They're quite competitive. These scholarships are merit-based, So yeah, but still everyone can apply for them and almost everyone can win this scholarship if your profile is strong enough. And here at Univibes, we of course help with the application for these scholarships, and we do the best, our best to help our clients to strengthen their profiles for these scholarships. Also, some important facts to know about education in Germany is as an international student, you will have an opportunity to work while studying in Germany, but with the limit of 20 hours per week. But still, it is enough for a part-time job and to make a living in Germany. And after graduation, you will have a post-study work visa, like work permit. So after graduation, you will have some time that you can use for job search in this country. It is if you want to stay in Germany and work here, just um, eventually immigrate to this country. You can see on the slide also some universities, for example, Technical University of Munich, IU International University of Applied Sciences, Berlin University of Applied Science, University of Hamburg. So these universities are like one of the most prestigious ones in Germany, and these universities are also our partner universities. So that's for Germany. If you have any questions about Germany, again, leave your questions in the chat box. I hope that Germany is one of like the dreamiest countries for our clients from our experience. Next country is Italy. Italy, yes, education here is affordable as well. And tuition fees at state universities start at 150 euros, and the tuition fees goes up to 5,000 euros per year. But there is an important note that there is a scholarship opportunity. The DSU scholarship for bachelor's and master's students. The DSU scholarship is different from the scholarships in Germany, for example, because this scholarship, DSU scholarship, is need-based. So basically, it depends on your family, on your financial income, so whether you can get the scholarship or not. So this is a need-based scholarship for international students. It is available not at all universities in Italy, but at some selected universities. And within this list of selected universities, there are quite prestigious Italian universities. You may also wonder like, what majors, what subjects, areas of study are the most popular in Italy. And of course, the first thing that comes to our mind is fashion, something related to artistic disciplines. Yes, it is design, it is fashion, architecture, and music. So most of international students study these kind of disciplines in Italy. Because Italian universities are known, worldwide known for these artistic areas of study. But not that many people know that Italy is also famous for medicine, for medical areas of study. So there are quite a lot of prestigious universities in Italy that can provide like one of the best education within medicine in Italy. And yes, you can study in English in Italy. Again, English programs are more popular at private universities rather than state universities, but still you can find English programs at state universities as well. Again, here, if you come from a non-English speaking country, then you need to take the language test and provide that with your application. As for like student life and living expenses in Italy, so as for living expenses, on average, that would be around 1,000 euros per month, um, or so like 700 euros to 1,000 euros per month. That's for living expenses. And as an international student, you would have an opportunity to work while studying with a limit of 20 hours per week. Here, same as in Germany, you can stay in the country, in Italy, after your graduation and work here for up to 1 year. 1 year. and then you can get a work permit, work visa, and eventually immigrate to Italy if you want that. Our partner universities in Italy include the University of Trento, Polytechnic University of Milan, the University of Milan, Rome University of Fine Arts, and others. So these universities are considered to be one of the best ones in Italy. So that's for Italy. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Next, we have Spain. Spain is a popular destination for international students, and there are quite decent reasons for that. The first reason is that education here is quite affordable. Tuition fees start at 800 euros per year, and the tuition fees can go up to 30,000 euros per year. So the most expensive education would be at business schools, at private business schools. Yes, and the tuition fee here is around 20,000 euros to 30,000 euros per year. You can study in English in Spain. There are quite a lot of English taught programs at state and private universities. There are scholarships as well, scholarships for international students, but most of them are university based. So here I would like to note that scholarships could be of different types. So the first type of scholarships is government-based scholarships, where the government gives you a certain amount of money for international students so they can study in this country. Another type of scholarships is university-based scholarships, when universities can give you the scholarship if you apply to this university. So in Spain, when we talk about Spain, there are quite a lot of university-based scholarships. So if you apply to University of Barcelona, for example, you can also apply for a scholarship that this university provides. And in Spain, there are quite a lot of university-based scholarships. On top of the fact that education here is quite affordable. If you speak Spanish, that would be very advantageous for you as an applicant. So you can take the Spanish language proficiency test before you apply, and you can apply for Spanish taught programs. And for Spanish taught programs, the competition is from our experience is lower than for English taught programs. So you only maximize your chances of getting into university in Spain if you speak Spanish and if you apply for Spanish taught programs. Here again, as an international student, you will have an opportunity to work while studying for up to 20 hours per week. That's a part-time job. Students usually work at universities, for example, at libraries or as a research assistant. Students also can work outside of campus as an English tutor, for example, or at any other job, part-time job. After graduation, international students have an opportunity to stay in the country and use a certain amount of time for a job search in this country. Talking about the best universities in Spain, there are quite a lot of them. Some of them are EU Business School, DBSP Global, Catholic University of Murcia. So these universities are quite known for the high quality of education. And these universities are also Univibes partners. So lots of our clients go study at these universities. So that is Spain, a very warm country. And I think I would dream to study in Spain as well, to be honest. Next country is Czech Republic. Czech Republic is one of the most affordable countries in Europe as well. But here, like a small nuance is that study in the Czech Republic is free if you study in the local language, in the Czech language. So if you have the language skills, you can study for free here. But if you cannot speak Czech language, you can study in English, but that will not be for free. So tuition for English taught programs at private universities would be around 10,000 euros per year, and it goes up to 20,000 euros per year. So that's quite an expensive education. But we have a really nice solution for those who want to study in the Czech Republic and who want to study there affordably. Most of our clients, they choose to go for 1 year language courses before their studies. So you can go to the Czech Republic and study there for 1 year at the language courses, get the language skills, and then study for free at the, any university in the Czech Republic. So that's very reasonable and quick way to affordable education in the Czech Republic. There are also scholarships for international students, and you can apply for them, but only when you are already enrolled in the program at the Czech university. Talking about most popular disciplines, areas of studies in the Czech Republic, that would include engineering, linguistics, some IT disciplines, ecological sciences, economics, and management. So that's like the most popular disciplines among international students. Again, the Czech Republic is one of the European countries, and the regulations in terms of student visas and international students here is quite the same as in other European countries. And you, as an international student, you would have an opportunity to work while studying for up to 20 hours per week, and you will have a post-study work permit. Some of the most popular universities include Charles University, Czech Technical University, Masaryk University, and others. So Czech Republic would be another good option for you if you want to study affordably in Europe. Czech Republic. But here I would like to highlight that education here is free only if you study in the local language. Another country is Greece. So Greece is quite similar to the Czech Republic. Why? Because education here is free if you study in the local language, in the Greek language. So that's why it's quite similar to the Czech Republic. But there is a solution for anyone who wants to study in Greece but cannot speak the local language. You can go for a language course before your studies. And during the language course, you can gain the language skills and then go to a university for full degree studies. Language courses would be around 750 euros for 1 year. So that's quite affordable. As for living costs, Greece is considered to be one of the most affordable countries in terms of living here. So as a student, your living expenses could be around 500 euros. And of course, it can go up to 1,000 euros and more. But it's a very affordable country in terms of living here. Yeah. There are also scholarships for international students for any students in Greece. And most of them are merit-based, and for most of them, you can apply only after you are enrolled in any university in Greece. Mostly Greek taught programs at Greek universities, as I mentioned before. And again, you, as an international student, you would have an opportunity to work while studying and make a living here. So just imagine you come to Greece for 1 year of language courses, and you would need money to live here and to afford your life in Greece. So while studying, you can work for up to 20 hours per week at a part-time job and make a living here. Some of the most popular universities in Greece include National Technical University of Athens, Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, Hellenic American University, and Webster Athens, and others, of course. So Greece. That was for Greece. So another country with affordable education is Turkey. So we are moving from Europe to Asia. So Turkey is a member of the Bologna process. That means that the education system here fully complies with the approved worldwide standards. So once you get an education from a Turkish university, your qualifications would be recognized worldwide, and you would have an opportunity to work for in almost any country in the world. What you should know about Turkey is that the language of instruction here could be different. So you can study, of course, in the official language, in the Turkish. You can also study in English, but you can also study in French and Arabic here. At Turkey, so education costs are quite affordable. So as you can see on the slide, Turkish taught bachelor degree programs would be around 300 US dollars per year at state universities. But if you don't speak Turkish, you can study in English, and that would be around 1,500 US dollars per year. Almost same for master degree programs. So if you study in Turkish, you would need to pay around 300 US dollars per year at state universities. And if you study in English for a master's degree, you would pay around 1,000 euros US dollars per year. That's for education costs. There are also scholarships available in Turkey. You can see here on the slide some of them. And these scholarships can cover up to 100% of your education costs. And some of them also provide monthly payments. So monthly payments can cover your living costs partially or fully. Some of the best universities in Italy are, or in Turkey, I'm sorry, in Turkey are Istanbul Technical University, Ankara University, and Istanbul University. Turkey, another warm country, which is located between East and West. And if we talk about Asia, so I just decided to add to this list of affordable countries to add South Korea. Why? Because first, the education system in South Korea is very, very similar to the American one. So if you ever dreamt of studying in the USA, South Korea could be like another option for you. So education system here is quite similar to the American one. Education costs in South Korea starts at 4,500 US dollars per year. That's the very average. And you can study in English here. You can study in English, you can study in the Korean language, of course, but it's very advisable and recommendable to speak the local language, Korean language, because this way you will only maximize your chances of getting into a university in Korea, and you will maximize your chances of getting a scholarship if you speak Korean language. There are quite a lot of scholarships in South Korea, actually, and we talked about government based scholarships, state-based scholarships, and we also talked about university-based scholarships. So in South Korea, you can find any scholarships. If we talk about state-funded scholarships, this is the GKS scholarship, which means Global Career Scholarship. So this is one of the most prestigious, one of the most popular scholarships in Asia, because this scholarship covers all expenses. It covers education costs, it covers living expenses for bachelor and master students who come from abroad to study in South Korea. Also, there are some scholarships that universities can give you, but at universities, scholarships are usually um, they can cover your expenses partially. Let's say 50% of your tuition or 70% of your tuition. So that's the very average. Um, let's imagine you are enrolled at a university in South Korea. So once you come to South Korea, after 6 months of studying and staying in South Korea, you will have a work permit with the limit of work hours, of course. So you would have an opportunity to study and work in South Korea. And after graduation, same story here, you would have an opportunity to stay and use a certain period of time for job search if you want to immigrate eventually to South Korea and work here. So yeah, that is for South Korea. Do you have any questions about South Korea? We actually Univibes this year had a very successful year in terms of South Korean um, university offers. Almost 15 clients got offers for universities in Italy or in South Korea, and most of them got scholarships, fully funded scholarships to study in South Korea. So that study destination is almost very popular among our clients. So South Korea. Next, we covered different countries with the most affordable education. And next topic I would like to cover is scholarships. So there are scholarship programs for international students. Uh, and some of them you can see on the slide. It is a DAAD scholarship, Global Career Scholarship, Stipendium Hungaricum, Max Scholarship, Erasmus Mundus, Swedish Institute, Tuning Scholarship. So these are like one of the most popular scholarships among international students, and all of these scholarships can cover up to 100% of your tuition fee, and they can also cover your living expenses and other expenses such as health insurance, research expenses, and so on. I will briefly cover some of them, and you will see like what benefits these scholarship programs have and how you can apply for these scholarships. So the first scholarship is the DAAD scholarship. That scholarship is for studying postgraduate degrees in Germany, and postgraduate degrees include master degrees, PhD, and research grants. This scholarship covers all expenses. So it covers tuition fees, which is your like education costs, and then your living expenses. So students usually get monthly payments. They also get some payments that cover health insurance and any other travel expenses. The DAAD scholarship for studying in Germany. Usually, the timeline for applying for this scholarship is fall, so you should apply 1 year before the start of your program. Let's say you would like to study in September 2023, so you would have to apply this fall in November, in October. That's for the timeline. Next scholarship is Erasmus Mundus. Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So this is not only a scholarship. Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters actually is a project that is run by different universities in Europe. So basically, students who apply for this scholarship for this program, they have an opportunity to study at least at 3 universities in different European countries. So students travel while studying. For example, the first country of studying could be Italy. Then students can change their country and go to France, and then eventually go to Germany. In the end, all students get a full degree, a full master's degree, which complies with all European and worldwide standards. So this is worldwide recognized qualifications, taught in English, and yeah. So this is an amazing opportunity for those who want to get some experience of living and studying in different countries in Europe. The scholarship itself covers tuition fees, it covers travel costs, it covers living expenses. So that's quite amazing, and a scholarship that anyone can apply for and win. Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters. Next is the Chevening Scholarship. The Chevening Scholarship is a scholarship for those who want to study for a master's degree in the United Kingdom. This scholarship is mainly for professionals, because to apply for this scholarship you would need to have 2 years of work experience. But this work experience can also include internships. So yeah, before applying for this scholarship, you would need to have some CV history, some work experience, and other extracurricular experience, so to say. This scholarship is quite prestigious, and there is a list of selected universities that any Chevening applicant can study at, but this list includes almost all universities in the United Kingdom. So it includes the most prestigious universities like Oxford University, Cambridge University, Imperial College, King's College, and universities like University of Warwick, and so on. So that's a very broad list of different universities in the United Kingdom. It covers all expenses, full payment of tuition fees. It is full payment of all living expenses, visa fees, and any other expenses like health insurance, research insurance, and so on. So what is important here to note is that Chevening and Erasmus Mundus and the DAG scholarship that we talked about earlier, these scholarships are mainly about the networks. They are mainly about community. So it's not only about like money that you get to study in this particular country. It's also about the people that you meet within this scholarship program. It is about connections you make, so from all around the world. So that's a very amazing and wonderful opportunity for those who want to get international experience, for those who want to build international career. And another scholarship, we talked about that earlier. It is Global Career Scholarship. That is for studying in South Korea. And this scholarship is not only for graduate students, but it is also for undergraduate. So anyone can apply for that. It covers all expenses from tuition fees to health insurance expenses. But important note here is that it is very, very advisable to speak Korean language if you want to apply for this scholarship. Anyway, as an international student, let's imagine you win this scholarship, Global Career Scholarship. You go to South Korea to study at, let's say, Seoul National University. And you don't speak Korean language. So before the start of your degree program, you would need to take 1 year of language courses, Korean language courses, and learn the language. So basically, instead of 1 year or 2 years of master's degree, you would have 3 years of studying in South Korea. And these 3 years include 1 year of language courses and 2 years of your master's degree. Yeah, that's a great opportunity for those who want to study, to learn the language, who wants to study at a Korean university. And yeah, so again, all these scholarships are merit-based, so you would need to have a very strong profile. And here at Univibes, we usually make an evaluation of profiles of each client. And when we start working with our clients, we give different recommendations and we guide students how to strengthen the profile. And what is an ideal candidate for the Global Career Scholarship, for Erasmus Mundus, for Chevening? So who is the perfect candidate? So there are different factors that you should take into account, but the most important factor is your academic background. Admissions committee of scholarship programs of any university, they want to see people who are really interested in education, who are interested in learning every day, and your academic background, your GPA, your scores, exam scores. So these what can show your passion for studies, for education. So your academic background is quite important. Um, in most cases, there is no uh, special requirements for GPA, for example, but it is very advisable to have the highest GPA that is possible. For example, for some scholarship programs in Germany, you would need to have 3.8 out of 4. That is for GPA. That's very advisable. Or at least 3.5 out of 4. Another important thing to pay attention to when you apply to any university in Europe or Asia is your English language skills, especially if you apply for English taught programs. And if you come from a non English speaking country, so English proficiency exam scores. What exams? So usually universities in Europe and Asia, they accept exams like IELTS and TOEFL. And IELTS and TOEFL, you can pass these exams at a special language center in your city, in your country. So anyone can do that. You just register for an exam and you pass this exam. So English proficiency skills is quite important for university and scholarship applications. Then another criteria that admissions committee usually pay attention to is your leadership and extracurricular experience. What that includes? That includes your volunteering experience. That includes your internship experience, any social projects, any work experience, so anything that could show that you are an active member of the society, anything that could show your passion for what you do. But here it's quite advisable to do some activities in the direction of the country you want to study at. For example, you want to study in South Korea and you participated in the project like a Korean society. You were a member of Korean society and you did organize some events for this society. So that would be a great advantage to your CV when you show in your CV that you have a passion for this country and you have done something socially valuable, so to say, in the direction of this country. So leadership experience and extracurricular involvements. Here we also can include some sports achievements. Maybe you are a champion in any sport, so that would be great, of course. And the third criteria, of course, is your uniqueness. What is your uniqueness? It is you. So when you apply for any program at university, for any scholarship program, what is important to pay attention to is that you shouldn't follow a template for your motivation letter, for example, or for your CV. Just be yourself, show your best self, show your best qualities in your CV, in your motivational letters. But of course, you would need to know how to show your best self. And here at Univibes, for example, we help every client. We ask certain questions so that every client can open up themselves and they can show their uniqueness. So here, your uniqueness, and you can show your uniqueness in your motivational letter, in your CV, during your interview. So yeah, be yourself. and show it to the admissions committee. And let's say 80% of a successful outcome is on how you show your uniqueness. So that is for perfect candidates. So what do you think? What other criteria you may think about when it comes to a perfect candidate for a scholarship program or for a university program? Feel free to share in the chat box. What would you add to the perfect candidate except this criteria? So basically that was it. So that's all main topics that we wanted to cover during this webinar, and I hope that was very helpful. I want just to recap this webinar, this presentation. So today we talked about affordable higher education in Europe and Asia. And when we talk about affordability of education abroad, we should always know that it is possible. At Univibes, we like to say that studying abroad is not about your money. Studying abroad is not about how many achievements you have. Studying abroad is mainly about courage. It's mainly about your decision to take the steps to your dream. So just take the step and apply to any university in your dream country, because it is very possible, especially with the help of professionals in the sphere of education abroad. Yeah, so now I would love to answer your questions. I will open your questions now. So the first question that I can see is about language proficiency. Thank you for this question. So the English language proficiency test is required if you come from a non-English speaking country. Let's say you come from Arab Emirates. Yes, you would have to, you must take the language test. Language tests usually are TOEFL and IELTS, and you can take that test at any language center in your country. You can Google it and find centers where you can take that. Yes, if you studied in English previously, for example, you studied in English at a high school, then you would not, in most cases, you would not need to take any language tests. Only if you studied previously in English, and if your school, so to say, can issue any certificate that proving that you studied in English. Yes, IELTS and TOEFL certificates, they have a certain period when they are valid. So if I'm not mistaken, for TOEFL, it is 2 years, and for IELTS, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2 years as well. So yeah, we advise our clients to take the language test as early as possible, let's say 1 year before the start of the program. Living expenses. The question about living expenses in Turkey as a student. Are there any estimates available? And also about the work permit in Turkey. So for living expenses in Turkey, so that would depend on where you live, on the city, of course, and that would depend on your lifestyle, but that would be around $700 per month. $700 per month. That's the very average. And this accounts for accommodation costs, this accounts for food, drink, travel, books, and any other potential administrative fees at universities. But that's for living expenses, not for education costs. Yes, that's for Turkey. Yeah, as for work permit in Turkey, In most cases, yes, students can work for up to 20 hours per week while studying. Another question we have here. Yeah, sorry for not answering your questions during the webinar. We intended to answer your questions after the webinar, by the end of this webinar. Sorry for that. So PhDs, the question about PhDs, right? I can see here. The scholarships, the scholarship programs that I mentioned, most of them, they cover postgraduate studies, which includes PhD and master degrees. You can study for free in the countries we mentioned if you get the scholarship. But with PhDs, the story is a bit different because in most countries you can be a research assistant, you can be a PhD candidate, and it's usually you don't need to pay anything. But it's the PhD is not only about your studies; it's also about your work experience. So you basically work at the university, and usually the tuition fees are very low or almost none of tuition fees. Yes, we also have a question about Canada. It's one of the countries in North America. So today we mainly wanted to talk about countries in Europe and Asia. But as for Canada, I would say that education there is not that affordable compared to the countries we talked about. The average tuition fee here would be around 9,000 US dollars in Canada. And that's for undergraduate studies, that's for graduate studies, and there are some scholarships available for international students, and these scholarships could be university-based scholarships, and also there are some scholarship funds that can cover tuition fees for international students. But most of the scholarships in Canada, they usually cover tuition fees partially. Very rare case to find 100% coverage of the scholarship program. The question about Germany. Are there any fully funded scholarships in Germany? These scholarships, the DAAD scholarship, this scholarship is fully funded. That's only for master students and PhD students and research assistants. That's for postgraduate studies. But when we talk about undergraduate studies, education in Germany is by law is free. So you can study at almost like €0 in Germany. But this scholarship is a fully funded scholarship for postgraduate students. Again. Yes, PhD in Switzerland. So Switzerland is not considered to be an affordable country in terms of education costs. But what are the benefits of studying in Switzerland? There are lots of English taught programs, so you can study for a undergraduate degree, for graduate degree, masters and PhDs in English in Switzerland, despite the fact that in Switzerland there are different languages spoken. But education costs here are not that affordable. If we talk about affordable education, that would be around 7,000 euros per year. That's the very average to study in Switzerland. How much budget the students would have if they wish to study in Germany. So let's imagine you're a student in Germany and you study at an English speaking program. So if you study at a state university, then you would not need to pay anything for your education at state universities, only a contribution fee. And a contribution fee is around 400 euros per year. €400. That's for education costs if you study at a state university. And on top of that, you would need to have some money to live in Germany. So that would be around €1,000 per month. So in total, you would need to have 1,300, let's say, euros for your studies and living expenses in Germany, or less, even less, depending on your lifestyle and depending on the city you live in. As for if you get the scholarship, for example, the DAAD scholarship, that covers all expenses. That covers education costs. If you study in English, if you study at private university, state university, so that covers all expenses and living expenses as well. So you would need €0 to live in and study in Germany. But the average living expenses would be around 1,000 euros per month in Germany. Yes, as another question is about proof of funds when you apply for a student visa in countries in Europe. So yes, students, when we talk about student visa, there are certain requirements. The first requirement is that you must be accepted by a university in the country that you apply for a visa. For example, you apply for a visa in Germany, then before you apply for a visa, you would need to have a university offer before that. That's the first requirement. The second requirement is financial statement. Financial statement here, so it depends on like your circumstances. If you get if you win the scholarship, then you would not need to provide anything, so you just provide the certificate and offer from the scholarship fund that agrees to fund your studies in Germany. That's it. But if you don't get any scholarships, then you would need to provide a blocked account. So that's basically a bank statement with a certain amount of money on your bank account. And this bank account is to prove to the embassy, to the government of Germany, is that you have a certain amount of money, so you have some finances to afford your living in Germany. So that's not for all countries in Germany, in Europe, actually. Yes, so that the blocked account, that depends on the country that you come from. The blocked account could be around 9,000 euros, but you can use this money during your studies. So you have this money, you provide the statement that you have this money, and when you arrive in Germany, every month you can use this money for your living in Germany. And that is a deposited bank account. You can from this bank account you can use a certain amount of money every month. So, any more questions about education in Europe and Asia? So we have just 2 minutes left. I hope that we tried to cover as much as we could during this webinar. Of course, affordable education, this topic is very broad, and we can talk in hours about affordable education. In the end, I would like to say that studying abroad is mainly about your courage, and everyone can study abroad for almost free. I wish you good luck with all your future plans, and I hope that your dreams will come true and eventually you will study at your dream university. Thank you, guys, and feel free to follow us on Instagram, univibes.global. We post lots of important and helpful information here about studying abroad. We also do free consultations, so you can go to our website, you can go to our direct messages on Instagram and leave a request for a free consultation. We would be happy to look at your profile and to give you some recommendations on what study abroad destination would be the best for you. So feel free to leave a request for a free consultation with our educational consultants.